We are Jet Sports Training, where our mission is to cultivate champions. This is where athletes come to get faster and everyday people come to change their lives. This is not a gym, but a community. Come get jetted.
Take off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lot of y'all doubted on me. Now they like, wow, look how far you go. Legendary like all my idols, coming for it all, and I can't wait. Success just called and I got me a date. So I grab my ambitions and I'm on my way. Cross the wrong line and it's bad news. Might get burnt like a candle. We too hot to handle. World at my feet like a sandal. I only move when I plan to. Your moves could get canceled.
My name is Philip Aguilar.
Yes, sir. We don't fucking play. We don't fucking play.
This show is sponsored by one of my best friends, Erica Sanchez, who's with Brows with Erica. She is one of the best persons in business when it comes to getting your eyebrows done. Make sure you go check her out at 6050 North Oracle Road, Suite H. Hey guys, I gotta tell you about one of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu places out there, Nogales Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Make sure you go check them out if you're down in Nogales and say what's up to my homie Andy Behrens.
All right. What's up, guys? We are back with another episode with a guy I'm excited to have because I know this show is going to be a lot of learning, especially for all the athletes out there. I'll give him a chance to introduce himself.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm Coach Dorron. I'm a sports psychology coach and master working on athletes' mindset and helping them get to the next level in their sport.
Yeah, it's especially coming from baseball. Like, that was my sport. Mindset is so important. Because I remember this guy named Matt Fraser. He's actually a CrossFitter.
Oh, yeah.
And he said if people are having the right mindset, it's almost like a drug, like steroids.
Absolutely.
They can elevate you to a whole nother level.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's the stuff I want to get into. But before that, I want to know who you were before you were a coach. So tell us where you're from.
Absolutely.
And the sports you played. And just tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm originally from South Africa. My dad was Special Forces in the South African Army. He was actually a professional soccer player. So he was the only white guy on a Zulu team called the Kaiser Chiefs.
Okay.
So we grew up always around sports and athletics. And my mom was like a tomboy and played a game called netball. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Is that the one that... No, that's... Is it kind of like spike ball almost? Or?
No, it's... you can only take 2 steps and then you have to shoot the ball.
Oh, shoot. That sounds fun.
Yeah. So pretty interesting sports. But anyways, she was always athletic herself. So when we first moved to America...
Yeah, how old were you guys when you moved
I was
to America?
like 4 when we moved to America from South Africa. My parents got us into swimming. So we took swimming very seriously. And up until the age of 12, 13, that's when I'm like, I don't want to swim anymore. Because of the pressure and the mindset. I didn't have the right mindset to help me get through the things that I was going through as a kid. There was nobody to talk to. It was suck it up. Don't worry about it. You don't have time to think about what's going on in your mind. Yeah. Just get through it.
What were the fears that was going on? I'm guessing it might have been some anxiety, nerves with swimming. What was actually going on through your head?
Just not having fun anymore. It was not something I wanted to do or pursue. I didn't have any goals written down. I didn't have any purpose in my life. I was just going through the motion and not really understanding what was next for me or what I needed to do to improve my performance as an athlete, even from a nutrition standpoint, and a training standpoint. So not having somebody to talk to about that, it caused me to quit. And I was really, really good in swimming. So after that, I dabbled around in baseball a little bit. And then I got into American football because I really loved it.
Was there any argument with your dad, like, oh man, you got to play the real football or something like that?
No. My parents always supported us and wanted the best for us. And he's actually like a huge football fan now. But
you made him switch over.
Oh, he still loves the soccer, but definitely learned a lot of lessons through football and playing that in high school. And then I was a recruited walk-on for the Florida Atlantic University. So played a couple years from there, and same thing. I would get concussions and get my head rung. And this was back in 2000. So coaches back then were like, okay, just suck it up, get back in, you're fine. When you're really not. And you need to get your head checked for concussions. And now there's a much better protocol in place for all of that. But yeah, that's kind of like my backstory. So for me, I got into sports psychology because I felt it was the missing element in athletics. And support for athletes is something I never had. And now being able to work with athletes and help, especially youth athletes, it makes a huge difference in the way they approach their game, the way they're setting themselves up to succeed and get to the next level.
That's awesome. So who taught you this? Where did you, before we start going into like the nitty gritty of stuff, how did you develop the mindset you had to be able to share it to all these youth athletes?
Definitely personal development books and listening and reading a lot of books. Always learning, always got to have a growth mindset. I have a master's degree in sports psychology specifically. Nice. So I wanted to take my education to the next level as well. And I have like 10 to 15 different certifications in the industry, just learning from different people, what they do, how they make their coaches successful to, help them overall.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're jack of all trades when it comes to this.
Right.
And I really want to go into this. So say I'm an athlete, and for let's say baseball. Baseball is a sport you need the best mindset in because you're failing 70% of the time.
Right.
I come to you. What's day one like?
Well, day one, I have you write down your strengths, 3 strengths, and 3 weaknesses. Yeah. So I want you to understand that it's okay to have weaknesses or areas where you need to improve. A lot of times athletes are afraid to say, this is what I need to work on. Yeah. But if you know that, then there's opportunity for you to grow and to focus on the process, not the outcome of the game.
Yep. So why is that the start, though? Why isn't it something like, hey, tell me where you want to be in 5 years, let's get there? Why is step one so important for the next steps moving forward?
Because it helps you, it's an easy exercise, and it helps you think right off of the bat. You see, we all have to think. The way you think causes feelings. Those feelings generate actions, and those actions produce the results you're getting. Yeah. So if you start to think right off of the bat, most athletes know where they want to be. Yeah. Right? They want to play at the next level. They want to go D1. They want to play professionally. They already have that drive and ambition. But are they focusing on the little details in their game to help them get there and overall just be a professional in life? Yeah. So, yes, I do work with them on having a strong purpose, creating a vision, understanding goal setting, everything.
That's incredible. Mm-hmm. So, say I'm an athlete, baseball player again. I come to you. One of the things I struggle with is getting nervous before the game.
Yep.
How do you handle those situations?
Well, the first thing you have to do is understand what it's all about when you're doing mental training. Mental training is about affirmations, it's about breathing, and it's about goal setting. And if you're not doing those 3 things, that's great for me because that means that there's a lot of opportunity there to teach you things to help calm your nervous system down and to calm you down before you're batting. Yeah. So it makes a tremendous difference in your game.
All right. Like I said, we got a bunch of youth athletes and high school athletes that watch. So kind of take us through the approach you would teach someone that's nervous before they go out to bat. What's a way they can change that to feel more confident going in?
Well, one of the things I do is I give my athletes, I make them a custom visualization. So through that visualization, it focuses on the first aspect, which is breathing, which is deep belly breathing. So we'll do a little exercise. So
Yeah, let's do it.
before we do it, well, you breathe in for 7 seconds, but when you breathe in, you push your stomach out, hold it for 2 seconds, and then breathe out for 5 seconds. You ready?
Oh, that's cool.
All right,
Let's try it.
here we go.
All right.
So you breathe in, hold your breath, and breathe out. So that's just one breath, right? If you do that repeated times, what that's going to do is calm down your nervous system. Now, you might feel right now that your nervous system calmed down a little.
Yeah, I felt really relaxed
Right,
afterwards.
relax.
Like,
So imagine doing that over and over and over again. So just like you would train the body, you have to train your mind. You have to condition your mind. So that's one way to do it. The next way to do it is to remember a highlight that you've had. A lot of times as athletes, we're so hard on ourselves because we want to be the best, and we put so much pressure on ourselves to continue to be better than the next person, or we're comparing ourselves to our competition or to teammates. But instead, think about a highlight that you've recently had and use that to train your mind, your subconscious mind. Then from there, I instill the 3 power P's. So it's presence of mind, power words, and positive images. So you use that exercise to picture yourself being in the moment and being at a high pedestal for your performance. And then the last part of the visualization that I use for athletes is I have them use either an animal, a number, a shape, or color that resonates with them so they can use that to remind them of their greatness.
Yeah.
And then what you do with
But
that.
you said repeat that because you said like an animal or anything like that. Like,
yeah, like
So like saying like I'm so gritty, like I'm a wolf or something like that. in a way.
exactly. And then how that wolf resonates with you in many different aspects. And then you use a visualization. You listen to it in the morning, before a practice or a tournament, and then you listen to it at night. And that's powerful because now you're training your mind to believe in yourself, and you're focusing on the things that you can control, not on the things that you can't control. Like in baseball with your batting percentage or the weather or the opponents you're facing, whether if you're facing a pitcher that's right-handed or left-handed. So there's so many aspects that go into baseball, but if you can control your mindset and be calm at the plate by using the tools like visualization as an example, you will have an advantage over the competition because the competition is not doing that.
Yeah. Like what we talk about, this takes you to a whole nother level.
Exactly. Yep. And there's research behind it that it works.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit, why does this work so well? Like what in our mind is visualization? Why does it put us in the right mindset?
Because we're stimulated so much, especially now, right? Do you, for example, when you go to bed at night, is your phone next to you?
Yes.
There you go. See, we are overstimulated by technology, right? 20 years ago, there weren't a lot of people with cell phones, right? We had beepers, different things like that. But now there's so much stimulation from social media, from our cell phones, from instant access to things.
I think that's also why depression, anxiety, all those things have gone through the roof in the last couple
One
years.
of the things, yes, definitely, because you're processing things so fast. So by doing these exercises and training your mind, it slows down your nervous system and allows you to think before you emotionally do something.
Yeah. So we kind of talked about that being the one thing that causes depression, anxiety.
Right.
As an athlete, we're always trying to find what's going to take us to that 1% better.
Mm-hmm.
What are other things as athletes we need to avoid to help our mental space?
Well, we live in a very fast-paced environment, right? It's hard to avoid things. I would say limit.
Yeah.
So I would limit try and limit, your time on the cell phone. Like leave your cell phone somewhere else at night, so you don't take it with you to bed. Read more, at least 10 minutes a day of something positive to empower you, right? I use an app. It's called the Champion's Mind. Athletes can download that app, listen to that app every night that has positive messages in your game, and put yourself, this might sound crazy, but put yourself around people that are better than you, because they're going to push you to a whole new level. As an athlete, you want to be around people that are better than you, because that will only elevate your game, and you encourage and empower each other. It's all about attitude. If you have the right attitude and you're around people that are better than you and you're encouraging them and pushing them, that is a huge leadership quality, and that's contagious. And that's how athletes get to the 1%. They get higher because they're not afraid of competition. They're not afraid of making mistakes. They're not afraid of losing. They're very positive about having a growth mindset. So when you have a growth mindset and you're open and you're like, hey, let's go, teach me everything, or you're better at this than me, like how do I get better? And asking questions definitely will help push you to the next level.
Yeah, because it's like that old saying, if you hang around 4 bad people, you're going to become the 5th.
Exactly.
And it's also the other way around too. Hang out with 5 great people, you're going to be the 6th one.
Right.
You're going to get better some way possible.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now with this, I want to go into, how do you talk to an athlete about failure? Maybe he comes to you after striking out with the bases loaded, bottom of 9, time running at 3rd. How do you approach an athlete coming from that situation?
Well, first of all, I tell them it's okay to stay calm and to, understand that failure is a good thing because it teaches you a lot of lessons, and to focus on the lessons. And then I have them write down their goals. And I teach them to write down their goals in a way that will get them thinking in small steps, in the small details in their game, and how to take the lessons that they learned from failing and use that to focus that in practice all week, and then go into the game with the open mindset.
Yeah, like fresh start, like opening
Right.
day. Now, one guy I used to follow a lot, his name was Steve Springer. He used to work with the Blue Jays a lot.
Right.
And one of the sayings he taught me was, every day is opening day.
Exactly.
Fresh mindset.
Right.
Yeah. Man, you said a lot of amazing things, and I really want to go into now you've seen development with athletes. Can you talk about maybe a time you saw this guy coming in? We had a guy we were talking about before.
Yep.
You saw stage 1, and then you saw the final stage, seeing this a brand new person. Talk us a little about that. I know you probably can't say the name of the person, but just talk about the journey that person went through.
Yeah, definitely. Like, helping athletes when they get it and it clicks and they use the exercises and they train their mind and do everything just like working out, right? If you're a baseball player, you train and you're doing all the things right that you need to do and doing a little bit extra, it's going to give you the advantage. So now that you have those skills, now as an athlete, you go to the next level, which is leadership and being a captain. So now you can teach kids that are going through it and having a hard time, you could teach them these skills and empower them to get better at their game. And when you do that, it only makes you better because you're teaching these skills over and over and over again. And it's becoming a part of your life, like kind of like a Bible.
Yeah.
So it's become a part of your life. So now you're like teaching these guys, hey, write down your goals. Think about your vision. Think about your purpose in life, why you're here each and every day. And then you come up with a mantra. So I often ask kids, I'm like, hey, what's your mantra? What do you stand for? And they're like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I help them come up with that. Yeah. So it motivates them and they can think about that mantra each and every day to get themselves, empowered.
Yeah. What are some good mantras that you've heard that people can start learning from right now?
You can use anything simple like just do it, or
little Nike.
Yeah, exactly. Nike, everybody remembers that slogan. Or anything like be confident, or take your game to the next level, or be better than yesterday. So there's thousands of different sayings that you can come with. Mine's elevate your game. My initial stand for DC, so I kind of tell people if you want to be the best you could be, get with DC.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
so
we're gonna make that a little clip for you to give you some
exactly.
promotion.
And now I'm actually the president of my BNI chapter, and now there's people within that chapter that are starting to do the same thing. About 3 or 4 of them. Yeah. So the more you repeat something over and over and over again, like your mantra, the more it becomes contagious, and people want to be a part of that energy.
They want to start buying in.
Exactly. Like what makes a championship team is not always talent and being the best athlete. It's being the best leader and best, building that tight chemistry. Yeah, that makes your team unique and different. So you use the tools work. It's amazing. Yeah, and it's a fun process.
Yeah, I'm sure you probably enjoy, like what we talked about. You enjoy from the beginning to the end.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Going towards more the beginning, because I just came back from coaching high school baseball.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've always tried visualization, kind of stirring away from focusing on batting average, focusing on how many errors you make, what's my fielding percentage, and just starting off fresh. But one thing I got was not a lot of people buy into that. Just because where we're at in the day and age, people want to be able to post like, hey, I just batted 500 in high school. How do you get kids to buy in from the start? Because for me, learning from coaching, that's probably one of the toughest things you have as a coach, trying to make a kid trust you.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely when you're in a group, it's harder. So when you're in with a group of guys or they're around their buddies, they're going to want to not look like they're vulnerable, right? In a way. So if you meet with them one-on-one, very powerful to meet with your players one-on-one, the guys that you feel like need the connection, and give them a paper or a pad and say, hey man, write down your goals. What do you want to achieve this season? Simple as that. What are you looking for? Yeah. How can I support you as your coach? Right? And whatever goals they write down, in your mind, because we're a little older, right? Yeah. As teenagers, you don't think always that way, right? Yeah. You're just like, what's a cool thing going on right now?
Or just moving on, what's next? Let's get something cool going.
Right. But the more you repeat to them, okay, I want you to focus on your technical aspects of your game, your tactical aspects of your game, your strategy, your nutrition, how you're coming to each practice, your physical presence in the game, and your mindset. And if you get them to constantly focus on that stuff, then yes, batting a 500 might be a little unrealistic, but at least you're still pressing the little details in their game that they can focus on that eventually they'll start to click with them.
Yeah, making steps towards the right direction.
Right. You can't change something overnight. So it takes consistency over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's like the old saying, Rome wasn't built in one
day
by day.
Yeah.
So one thing I've noticed with coaching is parents play a big role.
Oh, yeah.
What's the right mindset a parent needs to have having an athlete at home? Because we've seen it before. A lot of parents they put their kids' identity in the sports. They take the game home with them. Like we all seen those TikToks about like crazy baseball dad yelling at their kid off the floor.
Absolutely.
What's the right way they can help their athlete develop the right mindset?
Well, definitely communication between each other and understanding your purpose, vision, and goals. So if a parent understands what their kid is looking to achieve each and every game, it helps tremendously with the way they're approaching the game, because now they're on the same page of what they need to do. And I even coached a dad and a son that were on the same program, and they worked together, and they changed their communication style. So they went from talking all about just sports before the game to making the conversation lighter to keep the mood down. And then if you communicate more effectively about this is what I want to achieve and this is what I want to do in the game, then the parent has an expectation set from the start. Then after the game, you could talk about how the game went based off of those goals and how you're feeling. So it makes a huge difference when you're communicating that way, and when the kid is saying to their parents, this is what I want to achieve today, please support me on these goals. This is what I'm focused on going into this game.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful of what people are, how they're projecting you. So you have to be always aware that you want to present yourself as a professional. So that can even be a goal.
Yeah. So going with that, is there such thing as a bad goal? Could it be like unrealistic sometimes, like I'm gonna hit 5 jacks today, or something like that, or is it just any goal possible at that point?
Yeah. So you want to set smarter goals. So goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, measurable. They're achievable. They're energetic. Like they energize you. And the biggest thing is you want to write it down.
Yeah. It was different putting it in paper because you actually see it. I'm sure there's studies showing if you write down something, it goes to your brain a little bit quicker as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, plus it's a great exercise to get away from technology and just typing it on your phone. It's not the same. So every kid that I coach, they get a journal, and I have them write down in that journal.
Awesome. What else goes into developing the right mindset?
Definitely like grit and determination, having an emotional intelligence, understanding nutrition and what you're putting into your body is super important. So you want to make sure that you're fueling your body correct, because what you put in your body, will project out. So if you're eating a lot of fast food or unhealthy snacks, that can have a huge factor on your performance. And then obviously sports training, things that you can do to enhance your sporting career. And then recovery is a huge one. Things you can do for recovery, like cold plunge, sauna, all different things. So definitely looking at not just your mindset, but all areas of your life and even people that you're hanging out with. And a huge one, believe it or not, is sleep consistency.
Yes. That's the big one.
If you are super inconsistent with sleep, it's going to affect your mood, anxiety, and performance. So making sure you go to bed the same time every night and you wake up the same day, even on the weekends, because that will definitely set you apart.
So even if, say, we're working out during the week, 6 a.m. every 5 days a week, and it's a bad idea to sleep in on Saturday then, right?
I can't say it's a bad idea. Yeah. It depends on the kid. So kids are growing, right? Their bones or joints or muscles. So if you need rest, obviously. But try and get in the habit of at least getting up and putting some fuel in your body. Yeah. So whatever your goals are, like get up, have a breakfast, fuel. And if you're feeling really, really tired and you're doing all the things right, it's okay. That's a part of recovery. Let your body go rest some more. But try and get up and like do a little something. And then if you're still feeling tired, go rest some more. Definitely on a weekend.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. I felt like I've learned so much just from this conversation we've had. Is there anything else that goes into this that you want to talk about as well? I know we talked about the exercise part. We talked about the sleep part, all the little things that go into this. Is there anything else that a youth athlete could benefit from listening to right now?
Yeah, just have a great support team around you. Family, support on your, reach out to your coaches, get to know them better. Sometimes you don't like the way your coach coaches you. Build a relationship with them.
I want to go into that because that's the situation a lot of high school athletes have. What if they're in a situation where they feel like a coach just doesn't like them? They come to you like, Coach, I'm struggling right now. I'm not getting playing time. I just think it's because my coach doesn't like me. How do you deal with that situation? Or playing favoritism. You know how it goes.
Yeah. There's a lot of politics too that are involved. So it depends on the coach. But if you have an opportunity where the coach is open-minded, go up to the coach and say, "Hey, coach, could I talk to you outside of practice? Could I go grab a cup of coffee with you? I'd really like to get to know you." Personally, like not as just my coach. Like I really want you to get to know me and know who I am as a kid. I want to go over my goals with you, my future, what I'm looking to do. Yeah. It's all about connection, and you build that connection with your coach. And sometimes we automatically put these things in our mind that the coach doesn't like me, but it could be that that coach has 10 million different things going on and is stressed out in his or her life. And they are projecting it out on you sometimes because you're easy target, right?
Yeah.
But if you communicate with that coach effectively and say, hey, let's get together, like, are you open to meeting with me? I would love the opportunity to meet with you outside of the sport so we can build a bond one-on-one. I want to learn about what you do, and I want you to know about me and my goals and what I'm looking to accomplish. Yeah. Is that something you're open to? And if they say yes, then amazing. Yeah. And that's fantastic. Then you get to build that connection with that person. So
it goes back to what we've been saying the whole time, communication.
Huge. Huge. Sure don't be afraid. Yeah. Don't be afraid to ask questions and, step up to the plate because it'll only help you in your life.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. So what's been your favorite moment of this journey you've been on? Because you said you've been starting this up 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Is there an athlete or a moment that you're just like, oh, yep, this is why I'm doing this?
There's a bunch. There's a bunch. I've helped a gymnast who couldn't do a routine for over 2 years, and she finally did it.
How long did it take?
So it took her, after the visualization training, so like 5 or 6 sessions.
Oh, dang. How often should someone be coming in for a session?
Once a week for half an hour. That's it.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, not a big time commitment. And you can do it on your computer, virtually. I have an office in Oro Valley, but most of my kids that I work with do it virtually, and it works great.
It's a little bit easier just saying like exactly what you're feeling when you're not in person as well too.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's like one really big story. I helped a United States powerlifting champion get into the police academy.
Were they having just fears of just
fear of doing cardio?
Fear of doing cardio? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So got him moving with that. I've had several baseball players just work on their behaviors and get better. Yeah. Like I mentioned before, wrestler, just whole with soccer players. Like one guy had extreme anxiety, so it taught him how to go after his game differently. He's the fastest kid on the team. So he instead of trying to make a play right away, he backs up now and passes the ball more, and that's working perfect for him now. And it reduces his anxiety, and he's able to attack the field much better with more confidence. So there's so many great situations and experiences, and that's why I do this, because I never had that, coach to talk to about what I can do for my mindset. And having somebody that just does that is huge, because it allows myself to just focus on an athlete with that aspect of their game to help them elevate their game to the next level.
You're doing what you felt like you were missing in your game, which is incredible, because it's just helping out the community.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
how can people reach you? How can they get involved? How can they book a session?
Yeah, so definitely go to my website. It's elevateyourgameaz.com, elevateyourgameaz.com. You can reach me on Instagram, Dorron Coaching, Dorron Coaching, or my direct cell phone's 561-618-0759.
Awesome. Well, guys, like I said, buy into this, get involved. This is going to change your whole athletic career. I know that, because once I got to college and started thinking a little bit more positively, things started going right. Thank you for being on the show, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for teaching me everything you taught me, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
You're awesome, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.